Carlin, why do they need 4 words to say capitalism when they could just say capitalism? Because they're attacking different aspects of capitalism. Capitalism said generally is a reference to just private property ownership. We've already gone over this, but I'll repeat. Private property means your ability to own a home, your ability to own a business, your ability to own land, your ability to own intellectual property. It means your ability to own an apartment rental as like a landlord or an Airbnb or something like that. It means your parental rights, and it means your individual liberties. Racism is a reference to whiteness, which means systemic racism. Systemic racism is what they're talking about every time they say racism, every time they say whiteness, every time they say white supremacy, because what they believe is in 2020 they changed the dictionary definition of racism to include systemic or institutional racism. What they're referring to is not your skin color. It's the system, the institution that upholds racism. The system or the institution is capitalism, private property ownership, because that is the origin point of all of this. They believe that you can only fix racism in this country by overthrowing and abolishing capitalism and replacing it with equity. Equity means Marxism. The patriarchy is a reference to the gender binary. What socialists believe is the gender binary, men and women, was created by capitalism. Capitalism put men in the working world where they had all the power and all the money. It put women in the home doing the unpaid labor of raising the future generation of proletarian worker, the nuclear family. That's what the patriarchy is. An empire is a reference to imperialism, colonization, colonialism, which is the taking of indigenous land and privatizing it under the oppressive force of capitalism. And they all mean slightly different things, but for our purposes here, so all 4 of those words, capitalism, racism, patriarchy, empire, they all mean private property, guys. If you go to the root of any of those words in this context, when we're talking about the far left, every single one of them means private property ownership. It's just a different aspect of private property ownership.